Hello, Ryan Stephenson with Align Tax Consulting. I'm here to record another podcast. Today I'm joined by Jason Frownfelter, who's VP of Client Relations and a partner at TaxMatrix. TaxMatrix, for those who don't know, is a sales and use tax recovery, exemption, compliance company. Been in business for 25 years. I'm going to let Jason kind of describe the business, but 25 years, Jason's been there for the majority of that time and helped build the business into what it is today. And with that, I actually want to start, Jason. Thanks for joining me, first of all. I want to start with you personally, how you got into this business, how you got into sales tax in general. Just give me kind of your personal background.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I
Sure.
appreciate it. Yeah, a little bit of a unique situation for me. I was working at a financial consulting firm, a broker dealer that decided one day to notify the employees that they were closing and moving to Arizona. So, had a friend whose father was a state auditor who had left the state of Pennsylvania, who started a consulting firm. They were very successful. Were in business for about 2 years.
Mhm.
I needed a job. I reached out to him. He said, "Can you start Monday?" I knew nothing about sales and use tax. As you don't really learn anything in college or,
Yeah.
there's no classes to take. So
Yep.
I was completely raw when I got into the business.
That's
And it's
amazing.
been about 22 years. So
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And kind of built it up from there. I mean, you were kind of the ground floor, right? And built it into
yeah,
what
I
it is
was
today.
I was fortunate to join a good company, which ended up dissolving, and I joined TaxMatrix through one of the owners of the prior company that I worked with. He was also the founder of TaxMatrix, which was interesting because TaxMatrix was essentially a company that was founded on making tax determinations based off of a UPC code on a product for retailers.
Yeah.
So that's how I first started with TaxMatrix. I did a little bit of tax determinations and tax research for products sold by retailers.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we're in the tax world, both of us. It's fun. It's exciting. There's a lot of changes, a lot going on. Every day is different, which I love. But yeah, tell me a little bit about Tax Matrix in general and what you guys do, what your focus is.
Obviously, sales and use tax, two focus areas would be audit defense. Obviously, states will audit companies for sales and use tax to make sure, one, they're both charging and collecting sales tax if they're selling a taxable product, and two, that they're paying sales tax to vendors or accruing use tax internally for purchases that they make that they use in everyday business. So that's essentially the two main focuses of Tax Matrix right now would be audit defense and refund recovery. So obviously we defend audits, but we also look for areas for our clients where they could potentially be over paying sales tax or over accruing use tax on products that they use in everyday business.
Yeah, yeah. And who are those clients? Who are good candidates, good prospects for what you guys do?
Wow. Manufacturers, obviously,
Yeah.
that's a big industry.
Yep.
Drug development, we have a lot of clients in what I would call the drug development area, meaning contract research organizations, contract manufacturers, a lot of insurance companies, service providers, retailers. It just depends. It varies, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Manufacturing, obviously, the big one probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we work with companies as large as somebody like an Ocean Spray, a Welch's, a Saint-Gobain Certainteed,
Yep.
down to, depending on location and issue, sometimes we even will assist a mom and pop, manufacturer
Yeah.
that needs help with an audit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess another question, you guys only kind of focus on sales and use tax. Have you considered other tax areas or you think it's more successful being kind of in that niche area, kind of staying kind of with what you do?
Yeah, great question. We decided probably about 15 years ago that we were solely going to focus on sales and use tax
Hmm.
and be the best in that space. I mean, obviously, we've been approached by, other industries, just based on our relationships we have with a few companies, many different tax options, many different services. But in the end, we decided let's just strictly focus on sales and use and be the best at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys incorporate technology into your processes and workflows?
Yeah, internally, we're fortunate. We have a managing partner of the company that's very involved in technology, and he has multiple companies that they design, develop, a lot of different programmers that we actually have access to as well. We have an internal product that we use to pretty much run our day-to-day operations. Obviously, we have a few other technology based products. I mean, obviously AI is huge for us. We gather a lot of data,
Yeah.
and putting that data into specific formats, especially for example, if we have to, most states will require an Excel spreadsheet with an invoice information such as invoice date, amount, argument. We've been able to develop a product and work with some other firms and use some other products that will more or less take that invoice, recognize what's on that invoice, and actually put that on a schedule for us instead of having somebody internally admin, usually maybe 3 or 4 days. We can have that done in about 20 minutes now. So it's really AI, character recognition, the OCR type of software has really helped us over the past 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say it's all kind of changing pretty quickly. Like, for a good 10-year, 12-year span there it wasn't like that. And now all of a sudden you can use those tools and
Yeah.
really speeds up processes. So,
Absolutely. It's nice. We can take individuals that we work, that work for us that we're doing a lot of that work, and we can have them focus on, other tasks like gathering evidence and,
yep,
tax research is a big thing obviously in this industry. Yeah, instead of the admin work, we can push them more towards working with vendors or gathering evidence
yep,
or working with attorneys to, provide information needed.
yep. Yep. Well, just not necessarily a question, but a comment. Like, TaxMatrix is there's a lot of overlap with what we do and what you guys do. But I just want to say you guys have been an awesome partner of ours, and it just speaks to the level of integrity and just good business people that you guys are. That we're able to work together so well, and we send you guys projects, you send us projects, and it's been a really good partnership. So we've appreciated being a small part of the TaxMatrix team over the years. You guys have been great to us.
Absolutely. And as you may know, or you may not know, we've been doing, obviously we partner with you for energy studies and a few other services. And I'll be honest with you, we've been approached by, 15 to 20 companies over the past 10 years regarding, we see you know, your clients, we see that you're involved with a lot of these larger companies. We'd love to do energy work for you, your studies, different types of services. And I'll be honest, your firm's top notch. I mean, obviously that's why we chose you. We work with you. We solely use you. In the past, we've used multiple companies. We didn't like to, put everything with one specific company or vendor. But again, from our standpoint, the relationship's been nothing but successful, great people. Your team's great to work with. And I'm glad you're saying the same about us.
That's great. I appreciate that. And for our audience, I'll make sure Jason gets a tip or at least golf on me for saying those nice things about us.
You guys are always there. It seems like, and to be honest with you, you know, we bug the crap out of you guys, for lack of better words. We really do.
No,
If
it's great.
you know how it is. If somebody needs something, and
Yeah.
um, you guys have been there for us. I mean, you jump. If we need you in Wisconsin, you're there. If we need you in Pennsylvania, you're there. If we need you in Georgia, you're there.
Yep.
It's like I said, it's a great relationship.
Yeah. It's good to
Not
hear.
just with you and I, but it seems like the entire company. I mean,
Yeah.
I've not heard one negative thing from our president down to the people that are out in the field with your individuals, your employees during studies. I've not heard one negative thing.
That's awesome. Well, again, I appreciate it. You guys have been great. So, we got those pleasantries out of the way. Let me get back into the kind of nitty gritty. What, what are some of the challenges you see in your job on a day-to-day basis, whether it's, dealing with some of the different states, their, tax rates, what's, exempt in one state versus another, dealing with departments of revenue, things like that.
Yeah, I think from our side, and I think most consultants will agree, it's just dealing with the taxing agencies. I
Yeah.
mean, there's not a lot of consistencies. There's certain states that are very good to work in. There's
Yep.
other states where they just They look at a taxpayer and just don't really care. I mean,
Yeah.
you can provide them something as you know, and it's pretty straightforward. And they'll look at it and they'll just say, "Oh, this isn't good enough. We need more evidence." However, they don't share with you or point you in a direction of what additional evidence they need. I
Yeah.
think that's the most frustrating part. We don't shy away from working in any state,
Yep.
but probably similar to you, there's states that we enjoy working in because, you know, the Department of Revenue in those states are straightforward. They want to get things done. They want to provide you a decision, whether it's a good decision or a bad decision in favor that for the taxpayer. I get frustrated with a state, my home state. They just keep pushing the buck down the road and
Yeah.
interest keeps accruing. So in the end, a claim that they could have paid my client, let's say $50,000 3 years later, now they're paying them 80 because they're paying them interest.
Yeah.
Just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I think things need to be done in certain states. We'll see though.
Yeah, yeah. Improve some efficiencies. And, we've always said too, and you'd probably agree, a lot of the taxing agencies, you almost have to treat them like clients too. If you're nice to them and respectful and professional and courteous, you'll get that same level back. And they're more likely to approve some of the claims that you file. So we always try to treat them like a
Absolutely.
client.
Absolutely. Although, it's different when you have, and I see it a lot in the audit side of the business from sales and use tax audits where taxpayers will be kind to an auditor. They'll treat them great. They'll say, "Oh, our audit's gone great. We'll bring you, nothing's been difficult. We'll bring you in when, we feel we run into an issue." And then all of a sudden they have a post audit conference and the state hands them a $1 million assessment and they're,
Yeah.
"Wait a minute. We thought things were going well here. We didn't
Yeah.
think, So yeah,
Yeah.
it's always nice to be, kind, but I have to laugh. I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah. Get a little
But
pushy
yeah, no, I,
sometimes
I
too.
I agree for the most part though. Most auditors are pretty straightforward. And I'll be honest with you, we prefer to deal with an auditor at the audit level.
Yeah,
Because once you reach the appeal level, it seems to get a little bit more difficult
for
and
sure.
they're not as open-minded.
Yeah. I've always said that appeals are not in the favor of the taxpayer, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends what state. Most states, appeal can take, 2 to 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I look for my next question here real quick. I did want to point out Jason lives in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and he's a big Penn State, specifically football fan. So as an IU guy, it was fun to go up there this year and win, but barely get screwed out of there with a win, which pushed him on to the national championship game. So we appreciated that. Yeah. sorry to bring that up,
Yeah.
Jason, but
No, I agree. I just, hey, if it wasn't for that last second catch,
yeah. Yeah. That was,
it's nice to see with Signetti being a Pennsylvania, obviously living in Pennsylvania. Signetti grew up in Pennsylvania. I had friends whose son played for him for a bit at JMU. So
nice.
nothing but respect. Obviously, when the Penn State vacancy opened up, he was the first target.
Is that
That
right?
quickly ended. So, oh yeah, they wanted to bring him back, to Pennsylvania to State College. But
Yeah.
like I say, we helped Penn State assisted quite a few coaches in college football this year with getting raises.
That's great. Well, I'm glad IU got him because he's been amazing. So, and it's really obviously turned around the losingest football program in the country. So,
Yeah, I'd love to
all
get
right,
to an IU game next year for sure.
let's do it. I wanted to just really briefly touch on the kind of the other side of your guys' business. You're kind of, delving into you've been doing it for a while now, but more fintech and your host business and kind of what you guys do with that.
Yeah, I want to say maybe 4 to 5 years ago, our president Mike Espenshade, great idea. We spun off, still a part of TaxMatrix. They just simply go by host. It's just a separate group.
Mm-hmm.
They spun off a services team. We always had a services group where we would provide, registration services. We would, companies would outsource tax returns to us, sales and use tax returns, voluntary disclosure agreements. However, about 3 or 4 years ago, we really took a look at that with Wayfair, post Wayfair, and we entered into some agreements with some third parties Like I said, our president, Mike Espenshade, spearheaded that. He did a great job going out and having, creating relationships with other companies that would, more or less we partnered with.
Hmm.
And it's really taken off. Again, that side of the business we primarily focus on. We partnered with, I believe, Avalara and use their product to do monthly returns. Returns are a big part of that business, as well as, like I said, registrations, VDAs. Another big thing that's kind of overlooked is they do a lot of tax research, which if you look at our name, TaxMatrix, like I said, we were founded years ago through a UPC Matrix master product where we would provide tax determinations to retailers.
Hmm.
So we kind of got back to that a bit. We haven't entered that space again, nor do I think we will. However, we do a lot of tax research,
Okay.
and it's one big service that's it's been very successful for us. You provide somebody research information on taxability of products or services. And again, we do that.
Hmm.
We kind of coexist with that side of the business as well. Tax Matrix, our idea of a client isn't a client that we're going to have. We'd love to have a relationship with a client for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But if we do our job and we come in, we point out, here you're overpaying. Here's some areas where you're potentially underpaying. And process improvement is big. So we work with that team as well for process improvement for our clients.
Yep.
So if I do a refund review for a client and I find $100,000, if I come back in 3 years, hopefully, they're not paying half of what we found, that they do make the changes and the recommendations that we provide.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get them compliant. And then, like you said, there's really nothing else you can do for them at that time. I mean, you've done your job.
Yeah, we're not here to make clients an annuity for us.
Yeah.
We want to do what's best practice. Again, I think the big thing that we push is, process improvement. It's
Yeah.
it's huge for our
Well, and if
clients.
you do a
We
good
assist.
job, I mean, it's going to come back to you and you're going to get some repeat clients just because of all the turnaround and employees and vendors and things like that. You're going to have to come
Great.
back at some point. So as long as you do your job, naturally, you're going to get some repeat business, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I know Mike too, Mike Espenshade, and super smart guy. So I'm not surprised at all that side of the business is doing really well because put smart people in
Yeah,
place.
he's done a great job. It
Yeah.
was kind of one of those scenarios where it was just sit back and watch it grow. That's what I like. I didn't have to really put a ton of my team's or staff's effort into it. Mike took it, ran with it, and it's great. And like I said, we work so well with that side of the business. We're all Tax Matrix employees, even though their label's host.
Yeah.
So it's just a great relationship.
That's cool. Host. So for our audience, it's a host, hands off sales tax, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. Um, you know, this podcast, we try to talk tax in general, and just for our audience of CPAs and private equity and things like that are out there. But a lot of times we'd like to talk to just successful business people in general and kind of what helped you grow that business. So more soft skills, but you and I have talked about this in the past, like what makes a successful business? You've been there since day one and helped grow it, you know, taking care of your employees and treating them the right way and giving out
Absolutely.
bonuses and things like that. What have you guys done at Tax Matrix to kind of help grow the business?
Absolutely. From day one, Tax Matrix has always looked at our employees as our top assets.
Yeah.
Without good people, we would be nowhere. In our industry, we look for people that, you might not know a ton about sales and use tax at the beginning. Obviously, again, it's something we discuss. You don't go to college, you don't take sales and use tax classes. We can bring people in that we can train and learn the actual ins and outs of sales and use tax exemptions. But what we also like is obviously personable people that can interact with clients, talk to clients.
Be
Back to
responsive.
our majority owner, I learned from an early age when I got into this business, our majority owner's father has been big in my life as far as treating people with respect, treat people how you want to be treated, especially in the industry. I would say probably 90% of our relationships with our clients are personal relationships.
Hmm.
I mean, I've been invited to weddings. I'm good friends with a lot of our clients. And that's not because we've tried to make it that way. It's just the nature of how we are and who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Yeah. It's pretty cool to hear. No, that's kind of exactly tells you exactly why you guys are successful and why you've sustained. I'm sure you've seen a lot of other companies come and go over the years, but you guys have kind of been able to continue to grow and build. And it's
Absolutely. And,
testament to that.
we always take this stance as well. And sometimes it's amazing because clients will say, "You'll do that?" And from an ethical standpoint, I probably see it a lot. If there's a mistake made on an audit that will take me 3 seconds to fix and somebody internally doesn't see it,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not afraid to point that out to a client.
Yeah.
Do I need to bill them? Do I need to make money off of one small issue like that? No.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're a privately owned company. I don't have to report somebody for billable hours.
Yep.
It's one of those scenarios where we just want to help people, and that's the truth. And the majority of our employees here, they follow that same line.
Yeah.
And that's how you keep clients. You not only keep clients happy, but from an ethical standpoint, that's works for me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And that stuff always comes back to you. I mean, literally in your personal life and in business, when you take care of people and do a good job, it's going to come back to you at some point. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. That's great. Well, listen, those are all my questions. You killed it for our audience. Again,
Thank you.
it's TaxMatrix, the name of Jason's company, Jason Frownfelter. If you want to look him up on LinkedIn, host Hands Off Sales Tax, is their other website. Do you have anything else, Jason, before we get out of here?
No, I just wanted to say thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And like I said, it's been a pleasure. And obviously working with you and your staff has been great. So
Agree.
here's to another successful year.
Let's keep it rolling. I agree. We appreciate everything. You guys have been, like I said, been great to us.
There's going to be plenty more coming your way in 2026. I promise.
Amazing. Well, thanks for joining again, Jason. Have a great weekend.